works. What is going on, YouTube? We are just getting started with a little Amazon FBA Q&A. We got the TikTok live here. Back to this question. So yeah, I started Amazon with a full-time job, and I didn't leave that full-time job for about a year. When you started off, were you private label or FBA? Vaughn, I was just saying earlier, FBA is not a business model on Amazon. FBA is a shipping model. Again, guys, I don't know who you guys are watching videos from. I know that I do this. Like when I do Amazon private label. I refer to it as Amazon FBA. Amazon FBA is, so maybe I'm part of the problem too. I do private label. The business model most of you guys are referring to is arbitrage. Arbitrage is not FBA. FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. Anything listed on Amazon can be fulfilled by Amazon. Anything listed on Amazon can be fulfilled by merchant, which is FBM. The three business models on Amazon are private label, which is what I do, arbitrage, either retail or online, and wholesale. So just keep that in mind. Those are the three business models. Not FBA, private label, wholesale, or whatever. How much do you earn in a month? 6 figures. Trump increasing taxes is starting to impact the prices. No, not yet. I really need help with Amazon. What do you need help with? I need help with listing photos. We'll dive into that. How do I get started? Step 1, create an Amazon seller account. Step 2, get a product research software and find a product to sell. So, LOL, you could take pictures in-house. Just get a decent quality photo box. If you have a decent iPhone, that'll do just fine. Send those over to graphic designers who are, specialize in Amazon listings. There's Fiverr, there's AMZ Masterclass Optimized. FBA getting so hard, bruh. So many 100 to 400 unit ungates. Again, plug, FBA is not a business model. It's a shipping model. I don't do arbitrage or wholesale. I don't need to get ungated for the products that I sell. I'm not selling other people's brands. I'm creating my own brands. I have control of my brands. I'm able to stand out and differentiate. I own the buy box. Nobody else can be on my buy box except for me. I'm able to push for more reviews, which has a direct correlation on my conversion rate. If I get more reviews, my conversion goes up. If my conversion goes up, my sales go up. If my sales go up, my rank goes up, right? It's a beautiful thing. I'm actually able to advertise on my product. So I'm not limited to this box of where, okay, I'm going to hop on somebody else's listing. If I'm not winning the buy box, I'm not making any sales. I have to be the one winning the buy box to be the one making the sales. And there's going to be 5, 10, 20 other sellers who are also getting, doing the same thing. So with me, I'm able to optimize my listing. I'm able to differentiate my product, make my product unique, actually add value into the market. I'm able to run ads. So if I'm doing 5K a month with the optimized ads that I have, you just pour more fuel on the fire. Let's crank up the notch a little bit. Now with more ad spend or maybe more keywords or an expanded PPC strategy, I can get to 10, 15. Now I'm not guaranteeing these numbers. I'm just using examples. But there's so many things as to why private label is significantly better than the other business models. The other business models, I just want everybody to understand, it's not that they don't work. People make money from them. People are profitable. People pay their entire living from them. But they are the one point that I just hope to get across. They're the easier business model to sell online, not to sell products, to sell to you. Arbitrage is the easier business model to sell to all of you. Why do you think that a majority of creators who make Amazon videos are in the arbitrage and wholesale space? Why do you think a majority of you guys who come into my lives talking about, and it's okay, it's not a bad thing, but come into my lives asking about Amazon only maybe know about the arbitrage or wholesale space? Because you hear people say, you don't have to sell products. You sell products that already exist. You don't have to advertise. It's unfortunate that this is what the internet has gotten to. But you guys let me know. Well, actually, let's break this down, bro, because I'll eat that argument up all day. But actually, now you made me lose my train of thought. So let's go to your point, because it's easier to find success in it. 110% no. I've said this before. If we took 100 people who did private label, 100 people who did wholesale, and 100 people who did arbitrage, the success rate amongst the three groups would be more or less the same. No, I don't speak Spanish, brother. Business is business, guys. Business is business. Business is hard if you go open up a library. Business is hard if you go open up a franchise, an In-N-Out franchise. It's hard if you go open up a Subway franchise. It's hard if you do private label. It's hard if you do arbitrage. It's hard if you do wholesale. Okay, what is this? This guy's got to go. So, and again, I'm not the guy who says that these other business models don't work. They clearly do. They clearly do. They're the easier business models to sell. There's nothing analytically that anybody in this live, or anybody who does wholesale, anybody who makes content about wholesale or arbitrage, there's nothing analytically that you could tell me as to why it is harder. If the only thing that you are saying is that the capital reason is as to why it's harder, I'll give you that. It's cheaper to start arbitrage than the barrier to entry maybe is a little lower. So I will give you that. In terms of difficulty, in terms of chances to fail and chances to succeed, they're all the same. I'm going to get to questions, but it's also my live, so I'm going to talk about what I just talked about at this moment. That's the beauty of being the guy behind the camera. Private label is where you take white label products from a manufacturer like this, find ways to stand out, differentiate them from the competition, and put your own brand and logo on it like this. This is actually an Amazon brand, not sponsored or anything, but they do private label, not my brand or anything. Arbitrage and wholesale are essentially where you're taking existing brand names, branded products on Amazon, getting approval to sell those products on Amazon, and then listing them. So you order products from Alibaba, example, then you buy products, put your logo on it, and then resell it on Amazon. Yes, J. Cola, but I want to make a big note. It's not as easy as like, let me sell a phone charger or a phone case or just any random product. I'm doing in-depth product research to look for markets where I see an opportunity in. I'm not just going and clicking copy and paste on what everybody else is doing, because then I'm just like the wholesale and arbitrage guys or girls, where I'm taking the exact same thing someone else is doing. I'm adding no value into the market. I'm just relisting on the same exact listing as everybody else is on, and hoping that I'm the one winning the buy box a majority of the time so that I can get a majority of the sales, and then constantly sourcing new products. I'm not trying to play for scraps. I'm playing for world domination, hypothetically. So I'm finding a way to add value into the market. I want my offer to be better than everybody else's. Now, that might scare some people, like, oh, wow, how do you do that? It's not that complicated. Let's use a simple example. Let's say that you have a whiteboard, okay? The product that you want to go launch is a whiteboard. And you see one seller in the market who's performing really well, and they have a bonus item as whiteboard markers. And then you see another seller in the market performing really, really well, and they have a magnetic board and magnets, okay? They're performing well. And then you see a third seller who's performing really well, and they have, let's say, a stand, right? Like, like the rolling whiteboards. Okay, so you're looking through the data and you see each one of them individually performing well, but you don't see a single seller who has whiteboard markers and an eraser plus a magnetic board and magnets and is a rolling whiteboard. Let's pretend that didn't exist in the market. You're not reinventing the wheel. You're not creating a new mold. You're not doing anything that special, but you're taking ideas from all the top sellers. You're creating a hybrid listing. If you're price competitive in the market, all of a sudden you have a better offer. You have added value into the market. So it's really not as complicated as the internet tries to make it seem. But yes, that is the private label business model, and that is what I do and how I launch products. Kind of lost my spot, so let me find where I was. If I skipped anybody who followed, I do appreciate everybody. I try to go line by line, but it skipped me down to the bottom here. Let's go. Oh, there we go. Makos, thank you for the follow. Don, thank you for the follow. I've listed a new product. I don't get sales, which is expected. I do have good pictures in PPC. How many reviews do you have? User 99. It's the famous question. How do you know what products? I do product research. I have a very strict product criteria. If a product meets that product criteria, then I move on to the next phase. How did you know about Amazon FBA? I had just graduated high school. Lost little boy who didn't want to go to college, who was partying, doing all these things. I started working for my cousins, making $12 an hour. It was a warehouse, well, technically a warehouse job, but they started in a really small office. Their story is really cool. I'll share it after this. And I was working there. My dream was to be a rapper, at least at the time. Not really, I just wanted to be rich. And I was working for them, making their products. They were Amazon sellers. They do private label, but they do it a little bit differently. They get their components sourced from all around the world, and then in-house, they manufacture the products. And so I was one of the ones manufacturing it. They kind of saw the path that I was going on down in life. They knew that it was kind of like those moments where they knew they had the keys to the castle. They had the secret sauce. They kept telling me, Luke, you should start an Amazon business. We'll help you. You have us here. You work for us every single day, before work, lunchtime, break time. We'll help you work on your business. Like these, and just for clarity, when I tell this story, I don't always bring this part up, rarely. These cousins have been around my entire life. Like they were around when I was born. They were the cousin. They're older than me. Like they're 40 something right now. I'm 25, turning 26. Oh my gosh, turning 26 in like 2 weeks. Anyways, and they were the cousins that I would always tell my mom, like, hey, let's have them come over. I'd always want to hang out with them. Like everyone here probably had like those older cousins that you just always loved to hang around. They were them for me. That was them for me. Anyways. So that's another reason they've been close to me my entire life, that they saw the position that I was in and they kept encouraging me, and just the type of people that they are. That's their MO. They want to help people out. So yeah, there was one. I was hesitant, resistant to the idea of selling on Amazon. I was like, bro, I'm going to be the Egyptian Eminem. What are you saying right now? And eventually I decided that, hey, you know what, maybe I should explore this thing. I don't actually think I have the rap skills to make it in the music career. Again, my goal was just to be rich, and I saw that the rappers were rich, had the chains, all this stuff. That's what I thought I wanted at that time in life. Insecure little kid, but that's a whole other topic. There were two things that made me decide to start selling on Amazon. Number one was my cousin showed me their sales for the day. It was lunchtime. It was like $2,000 in top line revenue, and it just mind blown. And the other thing was a video that they showed me. You guys can still find this video on YouTube today. It's titled, She Makes $40,000 per month selling on Amazon at 23. It's from a channel called Project Life Mastery. The video's 10 years old. I see this video and I see this woman who's selling on Amazon. She's doing 40K on Amazon. She's doing an additional like 70K on Shopify. And I'm like, it just was hard to conceptualize. Somebody who looked like someone I would have went to high school with, who would have looked like someone I would have partied with, is making that much money online, is only 5 years older than me. From there, we were off to the races. I decided to take them up on their advice. They were my mentors, and skip me to the bottom. And they taught me everything that I knew about selling on Amazon up to a point. And 1 month after launching on Amazon, it just changed the trajectory of my life. Sorry, I gave the long version. I have a listed new product. I don't get sales, which is answer that. How many reviews do you have? Like I said, what was the hardest part of this journey for your journey with this? I don't know. There's a lot of difficult things. You guys shouldn't go into business thinking that it's going to be this yellow brick road to success. Even hearing my personal experience, my very first product, month 1, I get the bestseller badge. I tell my cousin, I'll be happy if I sell these first 300 units in just 6 months. I sold out my very first month. Bestseller badge, was doing 10K plus in top line revenue a month, profitably, crushing it. Even then, there was things that happened along that journey that was hard to deal with. If I had to pinpoint, I would say the hardest thing, and this kind of branches out into a lot of things, was resilience. It's something that I struggled with a lot. I was the type of early entrepreneur, as I guess a lot of people are, where when a problem would happen, I thought the sky was falling, right? Everything was the sky was falling, the sky was falling. You come to realize that as a business owner, it is your responsibility to put out those fires. As a 9-to-5 employee working for my cousins who had an Amazon business, if their sales were down on Amazon, my job didn't change. I was still going to clock in, produce products, and keep it trucking. But as the business owner, sales are down, that's on you. Conversions down, that's on you. Ads aren't performing, that's on you. And so, and I don't even want to I'm not even trying to turn people off of Amazon, but I almost despise the videos that are online of making it seem like it's as easy as just launching a product on Amazon and then you'll be rich. Yes, in simple terms, well, not in simple terms, you're just going to launch and be rich, but yes, in simple terms, you can launch and just get sales, but fundamentally it's much more than that. And so I almost try to go really hard the other direction. Because I go live nearly every single day. You guys can imagine how many comments you've seen come in just in the short time maybe you've been sitting in this live. How many comments, how many different scenarios, how many people's different businesses I've gotten to answer questions about, get some insight on, all the different things. 300 plus mentorship students. You realize that a lot of people were taught that it was as easy as they were going to launch a product on Amazon and they were going to be making 10, 20, 30, 40, $50,000 a month. Now go ask anybody who started a business, even somebody at my level, or somebody who their first month, because I've had plenty of students who have been in this scenario, even someone who their first month of Amazon, 30K a month. Go ask that person about the true difficulties of starting a business. It's not this yellow brick road, all sunshine and rainbows, but it's also a beautiful thing. It's also a very, it's a potentially life-changing thing. It's something that could elevate your life financially, your freedom, your time, but you have to put in the work to get it. It's almost kind of if it was as easy as just doing it, everyone would be rich. We would all be entrepreneurs. We would all be 7-figure sellers, 8-figure sellers. We would all be the Jeff Bezoses of the world. It would be nice if life worked like that, but unfortunately it doesn't. And anything worth doing is going to have challenges. The beauty of it, though, it kind of think of your life almost. Every challenge you've ever gone through, you have gotten through. Every business adversity. We lost $30,000 to Amazon one time. Even something as big as that, you push past it. You get to the other side. It makes you a better entrepreneur. Can you show me? I don't show my listings, LOL, for obvious reasons, but I can show you an example of a good listing. How do you separate yourself in FBA? By standing out, differentiating your product from the competition, by always optimizing, by improving your title, images, A+ content, by having a better listing than everybody else, by having better structured ads and a better ad campaign than everybody else. Again, you guys are like, Luke, that's if that's your advice, everybody's doing that. 90% rule, y'all. 90% of people are working at a subpar frequency in life. 10% of people are crushing it, and 10% of that 10%, aka 1%, are going to go on to do something great. Those are going to be the 7, 8, 9-figure sellers, right? 90% of people are working at a subpar frequency. That's in life, that's in the relationships, that's in business, that's in their spiritual lives, that's in every aspect. And this is not me judging. I have been part of the 90% in aspects in my life. And I also, so it's not me judging. I didn't make this up. This is something that we heard back in the day, the 10% rule. I call it the 90% rule. It's the 10% rule. Again, how many, just in the short time that all of you guys have been sitting in this live, how many questions, how many comments have I gotten? When I hear of people's, and this is, I say this with the utmost respect. I hope it doesn't come off pretentious or arrogant or like I'm trying to, kick anyone while they're down. The way I hear that people are operating their business, bro, I did XYZ, I launched a product, I didn't make any changes or optimizations to the product. Why am I not rich yet? You realize that 90% working at a subpar level. And so all you have to do is beat that 90%. You just put in a little bit of effort. You optimize your listing, you optimize your images. I was just speaking with somebody like, yo, how's your product going? They're like, I liquidated it. I'm like, what do you mean? Why'd you liquidate it? They were like, it wasn't converting well. I was like, did you optimize anything? They were like, what is there to optimize? My images were good. And I was like, what? You didn't make any changes to the listing? The only, I want to get this point across as well as I can. The basic level of effort to start a business is to start a business. Like the basic thing. I know it sounds, it's hard. You put in a work, you order, it takes time. But the basic thing for me to start selling on Amazon is to have a product live on Amazon. Have an image, have my images, my title, my bullet points, my description, inventory in on Amazon. That is the absolute bare minimum to sell on Amazon. And then we think that doing the absolute bare minimum is going to unlock the extravagant levels of success that we want. The math doesn't math there, everybody. Why? Because I don't want people to take my products. I'm interested in private label. Can you go into detail on how to do it? Go check out some of my videos. Also, Vaughn, I just dropped a new series. It started yesterday. You guys can go check it out on TikTok. Let me actually show you guys really quick. I think it's worth just showing. It's free, absolutely free. TikTok, say what up to YouTube. YouTube, say what up to TikTok. Okay. So if you guys go to my profile, boom, you're going to see AMZ course A to Z. There's only 2 posts in here so far. So this is the first one. I posted it yesterday. This is the second one. Just posted it today, recently. Okay. I'm doing a full 7-part series. This video is like 4 minutes. This video is like nearly 6 minutes. And there's 5 more videos in the series. It is a full Amazon private label course for free. For free. I show you guys, like in this video, I explain what private label is, what you need to start your account, how Amazon works, how FBA works. In this video, I go over my product criteria. I go over how to find products, how to analyze products. And then in part 3, we're going to be going over manufacturing, the criteria that I use to find manufacturers, how how to reach out to suppliers, how many suppliers to reach out to, the process, inspections, samples. When I say I'm doing a full Amazon private label course on TikTok, there has not been if you guys go find somebody, I'll take it back. But there's not a single private label creator on TikTok who has done, there's a lot who have done, here's how to sell on Amazon. I've made quite a few of those videos. There's not a single one who has done a full free course on TikTok like that. So if you guys do want more in-depth videos like this, be sure to go show some love to that series. Also, just all of my videos cover Amazon private label. I can give you the quick rundown if you'd like, but those are some in-depth guides there. 10 units of my 150 failed customers during my shipping. My friends and family said due to tariffs issue on, I don't know what you mean by that. 10 units of my 150 failed I read that wrong. That's why I don't know what you mean. 10 of my units failed customs, and my freight forwarder said due to tariff issues on his end. Well, then he should reimburse you for that. I don't do wholesale, Lori. I do private label. Why would you need to recreate the shipment, Michael? As long as it's still being shipped. Is it possible to get 50 units sold first month with 500 PPC budget? You got to get reviews. I was just speaking with a student. It was a really productive call, and I actually really appreciated it because hold on. Make sure you guys remind me where I'm at. Call with my student. Appreciate it. Okay, sorry. And it was a really productive call because the way he explained the perspective almost kind of like unlocked some new thought tracks in my mind. This student literally just joined the program, I want to say 2 days ago. He has a product live on Amazon, and he admitted that he made a lot of mistakes, and he did. He was at I got you, bro. Got you, L. Good to see you, brother. Anyways, he admitted he made quite a few mistakes. He was at quite a loss for that product. This was pre-joining my program. He joined 2 days ago. And he shared with me something because the biggest loss was with PPC ads. He just wasn't converting. And he was like, my mindset is the more you spend on ads, even if I'm at a smaller loss, as long as I'm getting sales and ranking, that's going to be an overall positive to my account. And I was like, oh, I understand it. Like, I completely understood why he had that perspective. It's not like, oh, bro, how could you think that? But that's backwards thinking for Amazon. Ads isn't the end all be all to get your product sales. Conversion is the end all be all. I could get 100 clicks with a 5% conversion, and that only is 5 sales. But I could get those same 100 clicks with a 20% conversion, and that's literally 4 times the sales, 20 sales. So it's not about how much you spend, and the more you spend is going to change the results. You spend a little bit, you get data. Okay, let's say the data tells you you're not converting well. The answer is not to spend more. I understand that conversation really like sparked some things in me. Because I actually used to be like, how could anybody think that? And then the way he explained it just, again, unlocked some different thought tracks. But I could see why. But you don't go spend more as a solution to your poor conversion. You test. Okay, my conversion's bad. Let's go optimize my listing. Let's go get more reviews. Let's improve my main image. Okay, now let's go back and same little bit of ad spend. Okay, let's go test. Once I have that data, did I get any improvements? Yes. Okay, good. I'm on the right track. Let's keep making improvements like that. No, it's the same. Okay, well, we have to go back to the drawing board and we have to keep re-optimizing. The biggest brands in the world test, 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 test. A brand, I'm not suggesting you guys to go this extreme, but a company like Coca-Cola will go as far as having 2 different ads and testing the colors. One might be predominantly red, one might be predominantly blue, and they'll test $100,000 in ad spend to see which one they're going to go put $1 million or $10 million in ad spend. And to be honest, a brand like Coca-Cola is doing far more than 2 A/B tests, but they're testing the color, they're testing. Is Coca-Cola is the bear, right? Or is that Coca-Cola is the bear? Polar bear? Or is that Pepsi? I don't know. I don't drink soda, but you guys get the point. Maybe they test one image where the bear's on the left and one where the bear's on the right. They're testing every minuscule thing. But then as Amazon sellers who are just coming into the market, people feel like, no, my first version that I ever drop of anything is good enough. Again, I really do wish business was that easy, because I would be the most successful Amazon seller. It would just be by time. The longest Amazon sellers would be the most successful, because every product you launch is successful. And then whoever's been in the game the longest is just the most successful. I've been in the game 2019. I'd be a 10-figure seller right now, son. But no, you're going to optimize. You're going to test. There's back and forth. That's the reality of business. It's almost like almost think of it like as opening a restaurant. The people who open a restaurant and expect, okay, I'm going to open the doors and it's going to be Spud Bros level. If any of you have seen that on TikTok, they open the doors, little line. Anyways, and I'm going to have a line out my door. No, not necessarily. You got to advertise. You have to market. You have to figure out the way to make that business work. You're not going to open your doors and they flood in. Maybe you're doing flyers. That works for some physical locations. Maybe you're running meta ads within a 10-mile radius of you. Maybe you're, going, it depends on the business, right? So, but you're testing multiple things because you have to make that business work. But then we take it to e-commerce, and the e-commerce world is like, no, I launched the product. I opened the restaurant. Let's pretend the Amazon store, Amazon product was the restaurant. No, I opened the restaurant. That's all I have to do. The floodgates should be coming in. I should have a line out the door like Spud Bros. Do you know how many people, does anyone know what I'm talking about? Not talking about with the Spud Bros, the guys who sell the potatoes that look disgusting with tuna on them. I don't know. So UK thing, but do you think that those guys, when they first started, had a line out the door? No, they had to figure out a way to make it work. And do you want to know how many companies in the UK, I bet, tried to copy the gross tuna, bean, and potato idea? So many, but none of them are that big. There's Spud Bros and there's one other one, the other big creator, and they run the space. Nobody else is getting to that level because it's not as easy as just let me open up the potato truck and boom, off to the races. Same thing with Amazon. It's not as easy as I just launch a product on, and that goes for every business model, y'all. Arbitrage, wholesale, private label, all three. Because you go ask the arbitrage guys and now they're having trouble getting ungated, and then they launch a product and they're not winning the buy box and they're having trouble there. And so the trouble's just insert business model, insert trouble into that business model. Oh my goodness, I lost my spot again. I do have a mentorship program in the TikTok bio. Are you doing custom packaging for your samples? No. Is it answered that? I'm new to the live. Which do you recommend? I do private label. What's an Amazon storefront? Essentially, what the word is, it's a digital storefront for your Amazon products. So on Amazon, people are shopping based on the product level mainly. Like I search water bottle, I'm going to get the results for water bottle. But then on the off chance that somebody clicks on my brand, I can direct them, like my brand name, I can direct them to a storefront, a digital storefront that has almost think of like a Shopify site, but on Amazon for my Amazon products. What manufacturer do you use when doing product research? You don't use a manufacturer when doing product research, but I use something called Helium 10. How would you compare product hunting criteria from USA to UK private label? It's pretty different. I mean, you have to understand that, kind of like what I just said, how I was joking around about the tuna beans and all of that. Here in the US, I mean, I'm sure there's some people who like it, but like standard wise, you couldn't open up that restaurant here in the United States, at least I don't think, and it performed that well. Different taste buds. In fact, I went to UK and I thought it was beautiful. Probably top 3 least favorite places I've ever been to food. We went to like this super nice, expensive steakhouse. I don't know how you call that steak. My lady got the fish. It was strange. But that's not me hating. It's just different cultures. To some people, that is the best steakhouse ever. And then they come to a steakhouse here and they're like, what is this nonsense, right? So kind of same thing with on the product level. There are some products that can still perform well, but it doesn't always work in the way of like, oh, you have a product performing here in the US. Let me just take that to the UK and then it'll do well. Can you dumb it down, please? Step 1, create an Amazon seller account. Step 2, get a product research software, find a product to sell. Step 3, find a manufacturer to produce that product. Step 4, add the product to Amazon and create a product listing. Step 5, create an Amazon shipment and send that product to Amazon's fulfillment centers where they will store, pick, pack, and ship that order directly to the customer. Step 6, start getting reviews and running PPC ads to drive traffic to your product. And step 7, start selling. That's in simple terms. How's your new product launch going? MJR, just today, it went live on Amazon. I'll give you guys the little update before I make a video about it. It literally officially went live on Amazon. Our account was, we had to re-verify our information. So it was actually available yesterday, but we couldn't actually, on the detail page, it said currently unavailable. That finally updated today. It went live. And bro, when I say I push for reviews, you guys, my product went live today. I already have 5 purchases on my product for review from people who are going to leave a review. I would have gotten 10, but I like to space it out. I don't like to do too many on the same day. So I got 5 today. I'm going to run up 5 tomorrow. I'm going to run up 5 the next day. And in 3 days, I have more reviews than 90% of the people who come into this live and are like, my product's struggling. I've been selling it for months. What do I do? And then I say, how many reviews do you have? And they're like, I have 4. And it's like, well, you should probably get some more reviews. What's your margin on this account? 40%. This with all due respect, but if you're making this much money, why sell a course? A couple things on this. Number 1, I don't know how long you've been in the live, Roman, or if you're still in here, but I don't think you've heard me. I think I've been live for over 40 minutes and I've mentioned the mentorship very quickly in passing one time. I'm not doing this to sell a course. I made content for free years before I ever created a mentorship program. I create content, I go on live, I try to give value to other people, because had there not been people like that along my journey, my cousins who mentored me, some really solid creators who were on YouTube. TikTok wasn't a thing back then, or at least not what it is today. So YouTube was the place you go and learn. If there weren't for some creators like that, I'm not in the position of making so much money selling on Amazon. And so I almost think it would be a disservice to have this information, to have these fundamentals and not share it with the world. I'm not the guy who has a program who's, flashy, showing off the things to try to get more followers, to try to get more people to sell the course. My videos are on information, some travel stuff because I enjoy traveling, but it's mainly information. No gatekeeping any information, full value, free value. If you go watch my last 3 TikTok videos, I'm doing a full free course, free things that are in my mentorship for free. It's 20 plus 20 plus minutes of TikTok content spread across a 7 video series that I'll be posting over the next 7 days for free. Now, why do I sell a course? Well, there's some people who are in my mentorship, some of which are in this live right now. Kevin, who's in the YouTube live, Airstick, who you guys just saw drop a gift. There's some people who want a more, some people who want a more in-depth guide, who want to be able to reach out to me directly to ask questions, who want some of the services that I've been able to build out. And I also do value my time. All the videos, all these lives, that's for free. That's anybody who, listen, I can't pay for a mentorship. I'm just trying to learn. There's so much information, and I want to be the beacon for good information when it comes to Amazon private label. But again, I also value my time. I can't individually get on a call and teach one person individually every day, how to sell on Amazon. Because like you said, I'm also operating a business that needs my attention, and that we're growing multiple businesses. And so that's where the monetary value of the program comes in. You do UK base or US? 40% margins, Ken. Do I need to take any courses? Is it worth it? I'm very new. I know people who, I'll get people in the live who are like, Luke, been watching your videos for a year. I started selling on Amazon and I'm at XYZ revenue. So no, you don't need a course. It's for those who want a more in-depth guide, but there's a lot of free information in the video. In fact, like the videos in my course, like how to create a listing, how to create a shipment, like the simple version of how to create a PPC campaign, like literally just the setting up version. You can find all that on YouTube for free. The in-depth strategies, my PPC Masterclass, having access to, reach out to me directly, having access to our weekly group coaching calls, having access to the freight forwarder that I created, discounts to the listing creation service I created. All of those things are where the, the program has benefit. Alan, thank you for the follow. I'm feeling that I'm old to start 37. You should listen. He gets a bad connotation. Take all that stuff aside. You should go listen to Grant Cardone's story. He started when he was like 40 something years old. Whether you like him or not, whether you think he's ethical or not, dude's rolling around in a private jet, owns $4 billion worth of real estate, and he started at 40 something years old. HLC, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. What up, Yoons? How you doing? I'm doing good. Willow, thank you for the follow. I'm 34 and starting next month. You're more than good. Yes, 100%. What's the highest revenue one of your students have hit? $400,000 a month. Actually, a little more, probably. Nearly tied with me. One of my students was nearly tied with me during Q4. Do your cousins still sell? How's it going for them? Yes, they own two very, very, very large brands. I'm not going to dox their brands, but they're in very big categories too. You guys would know the competitors, some of their biggest competitors in their brands. So yeah, they crush it. Their story is really dope. I'll share it quickly. I think we're pretty caught up on questions. Oh, no, we're not. I do use Alibaba, Lori, so excuse me. Let me catch up on questions and then let me tell the story of my cousins because it's a cool story. I have a few VAs. What types of campaigns do you run when you first launch a product? Broad, phrase, exact, and auto. I have some videos on my page on how I run campaigns, Samo. Quite a few as well. Do you ship inventory yourself or it goes straight to Amazon? Straight to Amazon. Knight, thank you for the follow. Let's go. Ash, thank you for the follow. What's the question, Princess? Luke, can you explain why people would rather spend tens of thousands of dollars on school for a 9-to-5 and hate on business? Small thinking. It's what they've been taught. I mean, you have to think like the way we were raised, the way we grew up, the way our grandparents taught our parents, and the way that our great-grandparents taught our grandparents who taught our parents. Like, this is generational thinking. It's not as easily broken as like, oh, we live in 2025. No, college isn't the way to go. Like, y'all, my mom was terrified. You have to think, single mom, God bless her. Single mom, I think her whole life she saved up, and this was like with interest and everything. I think she had put in, and this is sacrificing, saving, put in $17,000 by the time I was 18. And that was the money for my college fund. And then all of a sudden your kid's like, I don't want to go to college, when all of the family cousins, I'm Middle Eastern too. So you have to think like education is like here. All the cousins in the family, all of their kids are going to school. And so not only do you have like the family pressure of like, my kid's not going to school. No, Luke, are you sure you want to do this? Boom, boom, boom. And my mom was so supportive. God bless her. She never tried to talk me out of it or anything like that, but she was terrified that I was not going down the traditional route. I had family members. I was financially free, had my own apartment, had my own car, all funded by Amazon and FBA. And again, I started this journey sleeping on my best friend's couch. I remember being at Thanksgiving. I want to say it was 2021 or 22. And my uncle comes up to me, pulls me aside, and two things. One, he tells me not to tell I'm too transparent. I don't have filters to not like say things like this. But he pulls me aside and he tells me, I have 3 little cousins, all his sons. And he's like, essentially tells me like, hey, I don't want you telling them anything about business. I don't want you veering them off the path of college, right? Because they knew that I'm in business. And then in that same conversation, he tells me, I really think that you should consider going back to school and getting a degree and having a backup plan. I'm like, backup plan for what? Make more in a month than my principal does in a year, and he has a degree. My old vice principal, right? The one who told me that I'd be lucky to work at McDonald's. So I don't blame people for having this thinking, brother. I think it's a little silly, because when you break down the numbers, when you break down the statistics, everybody are a bunch of headline warriors. And again, I don't blame people. This is the way we grew up. Would you rather believe a headline, or would you rather go and do the research on how the educational system? Most people who believe with their whole heart that the college system is better than investing in yourself, investing in like independent education, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, that's a completely different story. But the amount of people who will gladly give a university $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, but don't even know how the education system started in this country, it would surprise you. And so for anyone who's like, what the heck is this guy talking about? Fun little fact about our schooling system is school was not, when the country was first founded, school was not required, right? The rich got education, but that education was independent education. It was not this confined system of, essentially what the education system is today. One of the states, it was one of the ones that starts with a W. I think it was like Wyoming or Wisconsin or one of those. One of the states is having an issue where they don't have enough factory workers. And so they start doing a bunch of research throughout the world. They're like, okay, hold on, I have to do a puzzle to stay on TikTok Live. Okay, so they start doing a bunch of research. How can we develop more factory workers? And they see this system that's working on the other side of the world called the Prague or Prussian. I believe it's Prague. The Prague schooling system. And essentially it was designed to create factory workers. They put people into the system. They teach you to be a good little boy and girl, and then they pump you out of the system, and now you go and work for the factory. And the state looks at this, because remember, there's a separation between state and federal. And so this state looks at this and they're like, this is a swell idea. Let's implement this in our state. And as time progresses, of course, this is not like an instant 1-year play and you see a turnaround. But as time progresses, this state starts to see an influx in factory workers. And then the US government sees this and they're like, yo, this is a really good idea. Let's implement this throughout the entire country. But there was resistance in the marketplace. People didn't want to send their kids to school because remember, generations, that wasn't a thing. And so there was a lot of hesitance in the market. So what does the US government do? They make it a law. Everybody here remember, if you're a parent, you would know this. If you're a kid, you may remember this, that if you don't go to school, One day CPS might come knocking. I remember I used to ditch school a lot in high school, and I got to a point where they called the school, or the school called my mom and was like, hey, listen, like if Luke keeps ditching, we have to get the authorities involved. Isn't that kind of a strange thing, considering why would the authorities get involved whether I'm here or not? I'm not breaking the law or anything. So they make it a law. They'll take your kids away if you don't send them to school. So now it's a nationwide requirement. You have to give your kids an education. Why do you think that they made it so important? Do you think they wanted us to learn E equals MC squared that bad? Or did they want to create a nice little club of good boys and girls to go work out into the factories? So the fundamentals that our education system was founded on has not changed since it was introduced to the United States. The curriculum has changed. Like, of course, science has evolved and math has evolved and all these things. So the curriculum has changed. The fundamental, let me bring you into the system, make you raise your hand to go to the bathroom. You have to ask permission to go pee. You are not allowed to talk out of turn. You have to raise your hand to talk. They are training you to be a good little boy and girl. The fundamentals have not changed, but we somehow, and we somehow give this value. Education is everything. Am I sitting here saying, yo, don't go to college and you should just work a factory job or whatever and not read any books and just high school is your basic level education? No, learning is the most beautiful thing one of the most beautiful things that we have as humans. But take action on that knowledge that you learn, number one. And number two, the things that the people upstairs are telling us that we have to learn, is that how many people here have graduated high school? I graduated in 2017. I'm 25 years old, turning 26 in a couple weeks. I remember, I don't know why this one, E equals MC squared, right? Yeah, that one, 2001. Okay, sweet. Does anybody remember an equation that you learned in one of your math classes? Maybe E equals MC squared, or I don't know. I didn't pay attention to math. Does anyone remember any of those? Is anyone who's not in an engineering or math field use any of the things that you were taught in school? I think the only thing school is good for is teaching you critical learning skills. But is it really critical learning when it's so structured in the way that it is? What's more, I mean, I got pushed out into the real world and they're like, listen, E equals MC squared, and you have to run a mile for gym class, and you have to raise your hand to go pee. And then I got put out into the real world and I was like, wait, guys, how do I do my taxes? I just started this business, and you guys, I've spent 18 years in this system and nobody taught me how to do any taxes, and I don't know what's going on. And this is actually like I would argue the only thing that you should have taught me: how to run my books, how to account, maybe actually a critical thinking class, how to be competitive in a job force, like literally skills that you're actually going to use in the world. No. But I had to make sure that I passed wood shop in order to graduate high school. The clock that I made my sophomore year in high school was somehow more important to my education than learning how to do taxes, which was because I didn't fully understand. This was my own fault. I don't blame the education system. I was a little naive back then. But one of my biggest losses in business was because I didn't fully understand taxes and I made some mistakes there. They taught me photosynthesis, but they didn't teach me how to do my taxes. What's the best niche? There's good niches, all niches, in my opinion. I got you, Airstick. You already know. For my first product, how many units should I buy? 100 to 300. What's the first product you started with? A gummy supplement. I would not start with supplements, or I don't even recommend supplements. Also, you need to be on top of the game. Not learning equals not earning. 110%. If you're not growing, you're deceasing. Can you show how to drive traffic organically to your product? Well, In order to drive organic traffic, you have to drive paid traffic so that you can get sales, because sales drives organic traffic, organic rank on Amazon. Hop on a call with my team, Islam, to learn more about the program. First week launching, is it normal to get 3 to 4 sales per day? That's pretty great. How much do your cousins make a month? 6 figures as well. What do you think of pet products? Solid niche. 400K a month. You need to do this headline of your mentorships. That's what we want to see to join. Wait, 400K a month. Wait, what do you mean by that, MJR? 400K a month. That's what we want to see. Start PPC as soon as you launch or once you have reviews. Reviews, 10 to 15. Oh, you're talking about my student. I was so confused. We talk about so much. I do have a video about it, MJR. Actually, I posted a video when he was doing like 150,000 a month. Can multiple people post the same product at different prices, and how would that work? Technically, yes, but that's the wholesale arbitrage model. I do private label. AJ, thank you for the follow, and thank you for the follow. User39, thank you for the follow. Is it Sellerboard the best analytical tool to track profit and loss? I use Helium 10. Felipe, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you. How do you go with fear on failure when starting out? There's really not a magic formula to this. Everyone's different. The advice that I give to you guys, like I might tell it to you guys and you're like, that helped me zero. You have to figure out a way to unlock the thought track in your mind that there's no guarantee in success in everything. One more thing that I want to really, really get across. We'll maybe end it on this note. We'll see. You guys see these numbers, right? This is 1 out of 4 7-figure accounts. I have had failed products. I've had products that I didn't differentiate enough in. I've had products that I didn't properly calculate the margins in. I've had products that I went into bad too competitive of markets in. I've had issues with Amazon seller support. I've had issues with my trademark. I've lost money to a manufacturer who scammed me. I've wasted money on samples. I've had failed product inspections from third-party manufacturers. I've wasted money on Amazon PPC ads. I've struggled learning Amazon PPC ads. I have had accounts shut down by Amazon. I've had products suspended. I've had products get flagged for pesticides, for dangerous goods, for hazmat. I have had accounts shut down. I've had accounts suspended. Almost every single problem and fear that one may have, I have encountered on Amazon. You see the numbers. So why do we fear the inevitable? It's business. You are going to have a failure in one form or another. Find me a business who has not failed. I've had hijackers on my listing. I've like every problem. Find me a successful business who has not had a failure. Nike has failed. Netflix has failed. Netflix almost went out of business like 3 times. Netflix used to ship. Don't you love when people don't know the definition of MLM? Anyways, we'll just keep that going. Anyways, Netflix used to send out their movies in a paper envelope via CD, and then they had to pivot. Find me a business who has not failed. So what are you guys fearing? If you don't want to fail ever in business, then don't start a business. If I told you that you had to fail 20 times in order to be a successful Amazon seller, how fast would you fail? How fast would you want to fail? You guys learn from your failures. You adapt from your failures. Now, if you fail, do the same thing, fail, do the same thing, fail, do the same thing, that is not productive. But if you fail, learn, improve, fail, learn, improve, fail, learn, improve, all of a sudden, all the things that I talk about, my fundamentals, my product criteria, how I differentiate products, how I approach suppliers. It was all a result of me failing on Amazon. So don't fear failure. Don't necessarily seek failure, but make strategic moves to mitigate failure on Amazon. On that note, everybody, if you guys like the lives, you guys like the videos, be sure to go check out the TikTok series that I just started, the A to Z full Amazon FBA private label course for free on my TikTok. On my profile, I have a little tab where you guys can go watch it. User71, thank you for the follow. If you guys like the videos, want a more in-depth guide, have me as your personal mentor, be sure to check out the AMZ Masterclass Mentorship Program in the TikTok bio. I hope everyone has a blessed day, a blessed night.